Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day to the panelists. Today, we will be presenting our final year project entitled Tax Analysis of Auditor General's Report. And our supervisor is Dr. Nurul, Nisa, Khairol, Azmi. Now, we'll be presenting the group member for this study.
I am Aisyah Hamizah, binti Azmi.
And I am Faresha Farhana, binti Rahman.
My name is Dzulaiqa Izafitriah binti Alias.
Did you know what is tax mining? Tax mining has become an essential tool in tax analysis data and widely applicable in academic research and business intelligence. There are a very large amount of textual data available that can be easily accessed via internet or database over readable online tools. The information extracted are able to provide some insight and important output for problem solving and decision making. Therefore, nowadays, many government agencies realize the importance of tax analysis of tax documents, including National Audit Department of Malaysia. National Audit Department of Malaysia is a government agency that is responsible in auditing financial affairs for ministry and government agency. Their role is very important in order to increase the accountability of public management. Therefore, in this research, we are collaborating with National Audit Department of Malaysia to focus on the tax data analysis of the Malaysia Auditor General's report. The main objective of this tax analysis are to provide better interpretation and summarization of the tax data via statistical analysis and visualization. This study is to examine the word used in Malaysian Auditor General report using the R software. Move on to the next section, problem statement. The Malaysian Auditor General's report is a yearly report that shows the detailed money management of each ministry. The Malaysia Auditor General report are officially accessible on the portal of official National Audit Department. However, due to the vast amount of document material in Auditor General report combined with an ambiguous procedural language of Parliament, it is difficult for non-experts to manually extract it. This research was inspired by the desire to break down the eloquence into the necessary to see the flaws in any initiative or activities held by the federal government. As it is very time-consuming to read the entire report effectively on the spot and to find the trend, the tax mining provides a better ways for this trend and concept to be discussed and summarized. Therefore, this research is also aimed to assist Jabatan Audit Negara to collect valuable details from the report relating to them.
Moving on to the research objectives of this study. First is to explore the word pattern in Malaysian Auditor General's reports for 2019. Second is to cluster important words that become important issue in the Malaysian Auditor General's reports for 2019. And third is to determine the words that are significantly related to the specific terms such as penyelewengan, pembaziran, gagal, kecuaian, and ketirisan. Next is the significance of the study. The National Audit Department can benefit from this study in several ways. First is by concentrating the data and separating the components in a way that is easily scalable. The results will assist in assessing the frequency of sensitive terms that appear in the report. Next is by extracting the details that are associated with the sensitive terms such as penyelewengan, pembaziran, and ketirisan. They can also obtain important information and their significance. And lastly, by forming a cluster of sensitive terms.
Scope and limitation.
This research has its own limitation. First, the findings of the research are solely based on statistical analysis, since the depth of information of the issues are beyond expertise of the researcher. Next, limited sources of data used for the study, which is just a single published document obtained from the official website of Audit Department of Malaysia. Hence, the findings of the study cannot be used to generalize the whole audit document.
Now we proceed to the next chapter, which is methodology. Firstly is the description of the data. For the source of the data, this study uses the Malaysian Auditor General's activity report for the year 2019, where it is retrieved from the official portal of the National Audit Department. Next is the text pre-processing. This process includes 5 steps, which are tokenization, data standardization, step word removal, stemming, and abbreviation analysis.
The first method that will be used in the study is analyzing the trend using collocation analysis. Collocations are terms that co-occurs more frequently together will be analyzed in bigram form. Bigram is a simple form of 2 words that collocate to each other. The next method that will be used to analyze the trend is word cloud. Word cloud is used to feature the most generally utilized catchphrases in a passage of text. Compared to table data, word cloud are more visually appealing and easier to understand. Next is co-occurrence analysis. Co-occurrence is a measurable view which consider collocation to be the intermittent appearance in a content of a noun and its collocate. The fourth method of analysis used to analyze the trend is association strength. Association strength is a way to analyze the collocations and co-occurrence. The association strength of the collocation is measured with lambda. Term that has the highest value of lambda shows that it is the most frequent terms that co-occurrence in the report. To achieve the second objective of the study, a dendrogram was used to cluster the sentiment words. Dendrogram was utilized to demonstrate groupings as it shows components or words that are outstandingly comparable or diverse concerning their affiliation strength.
The next method of analysis is network graph. Network graph is a mathematical structure that visually shows the relationship between points. The graph shows how the subjects are related to one another. Entities are represented by nodes, and the relationship between them are represented by lines. And for the last method of analysis, which also will fulfill our third objective for this study, is specific terms collocate significantly. To recognize which word that happen together essentially or much more of the time than it would be normal by some coincidence, co-occurrence frequency should be resolved if it is statistically significant. This should be possible whether for the specific key term or for the whole information. To figure out which term collocates significantly with the key term selected, multiple or repeated feature tests exact will be conducted. Next is result and conclusion.
The results in analyzing the trend using collocations analysis shows that the most frequent bigrams found in the report are audit negara with 903 word count. On the other hand, the word cloud illustrates the most frequently used bigrams in the report. It can be seen that the 5 most frequent used bigrams in the report are audit negara, laporan ketua, ketua audit, negara tahun, and semakan audit. Next is the results of association strength of collocations. The association strength of collocation was analyzed and measured by the value of lambda. From table 4.2, the highest score of lambda is Telaga Tiup with value 14.8091. Telaga Tube is a project made by Malaysian Education Ministry to give a clean water supply to the school in rural area of Sabah and Sarawak. Table 4.3 shows some of the important information related to Telaga Tube. Since Telaga Tube has the highest association strength, the summary function is extracted. It indicates that the minimum frequency of a word in data is 2 with a maximum of 152,150. The difference between the median and mean indicates that the frequencies are not normally distributed, which is common for language data. The analysis is then continued with the co-occurrence statistic for the term Telaga. Table 4.5 shows the output of the co-occurrence statistic for the term Telaga. It is found that sekolah has the highest co-occurrence with Telaga, followed by sistem and penyelenggaraan. The chart shows the association strength of each word relating to Telaga. The dot chart shows that the word sekolah is collocating stronger to Telaga compared to any other term. This is because the word Telaga is mentioned regarding the project for school in rural area of Sabah and Sarawak.
The next section is clustering the sentiment word. By clustering the sentiment word, we are using the endogram. Based on the endogram, we can see that there are two main clusters in this report. Cluster 1 consists of KPM, bekalan, BIS, and JMG. And cluster 2 consists of the word sistem, air, sekolah, penyelenggaraan, Sabah, Telaga, Sarawak, bandar and luar bandar. From these two clusters, this proves that the main issue of this report are the projects related to the construction and the maintenance of the Telaga Tube in the school of the rural area, especially in Sabah and Sarawak. This has been emphasized a lot in the report. The next method using clustering sentiment word are by using the network graph. As the result shown, we can see that the word sekolah and the word luar has the greatest connection towards the word Telaga, as their nodes are the nearest. The word Telaga has been widely discussed in the report relating to the Telaga Tube project that be done by the Malaysian Education Ministry to upgrade the water supply in the rural areas such as Sabah and Sarawak. As for the word system, KPM and Sabah, they were classified as a group as they were near to each other. In general, the graph shows that most of the words are very much related to each other as the connection between the nodes are near to each other. This shows that the report discussed much about the Telaga Tube project and its maintenance was done by KPM as an alternative for the school in the rural area of Sabah and Sarawak. However, the word fasa and project are considered as an outlier in this graph, because they have the furthest node from the word Telaga. This shows that the words are unrelated to the word Telaga.
The next section is for the specific terms collocate significantly. To determine which terms collocate significantly with the terms that the National Audit Department find important, multiple features exact test is used. The terms chosen for this analysis are penyelewengan, pembaziran, gagal, kecuaian, and ketirisan. The first term that is chosen is penyelewengan, which directly translates to embezzlement. The National Audit Department has requested this term to be the top priority. In the output, it is found that the words wujud and pengawal are highly significant to penyelewengan. This is because their p-values are less than 0.001. However, there is only one sentence that is found in the report that is related to embezzlement. The full sentence appears in the concluding remark of the report. It explains that the head of the department should take charge and be firm if there is a risk of embezzlement to ensure a good administration is maintained at all times. The second term chosen is pembaziran, which means wastage. This term is chosen to identify any wastage occurred or might occur that is mentioned in the report. The words HPKK, pengawal, memandang, diharapkan, and mengelakkan are found to be highly significant with term pembaziran since they have p-values less than 0.001. The word HPKK is an abbreviation for Hospital Pakar Kanak-Kanak. In one of the sentences that corresponds with pembaziran, it appears in the audit's opinion on whether computer devices will experience rapid technology transformation in a short time frame. Hence, the audit thinks that the computer preparation for future use will become a wastage. The next term is gagal, which means fail. This term is listed as important in order to identify any failure of project or organization. In the output, the words bayaran, deposit, membayar, syarat, and guaman are found to be highly significant with term gagal, since they also have p-values less than 0.001. In one of the sentences that corresponds with term gagal, appear in the audit's opinion about the Pen-Borneo Highway construction project in Sabah for the Lahad Datu bypass range. This particular sentence explains the cause of the project delay. The next term is kecuaian, which directly translates to negligence. It is chosen to identify any negligence in complying rules or procedures. In the output, the words scope, kolam, spesifikasi, and UWET are found to be highly significant with term kecuaian, since they have p-values less than 0.001. The word UWET is an abbreviation for Underwater Escape Training. In one of the corresponding sentences for kecuaian appear in the explanation of the need for ministries and agencies to be audited, where there are several flaws in the project and activities that are carried out. The last term that is chosen is ketirisan, which directly translates to leakage. However, the contextual translation should be the leakage of revenue. This term is also listed as important to recognize if there is any leakage of revenue occurred that is mentioned in the report. Based on output, the words LKIM, hasil, sewa, and dikutip are found to be highly significant with the term ketirisan, since the p-values are less than 0.001. The word LKIM is an abbreviation for Lembaga Kemajuan Ikan Malaysia. In one of the corresponding sentences for ketirisan made its appearance in the audit's opinion, where the audit explained that the collection of service charge for transferred fish has caused leakage of the government revenue. The last chapter is conclusions and recommendations. For the conclusion, in the first objectives, from the findings, this study concluded that the work pattern in this Auditor General Activity Report mostly revolve around the project of the maintenance of the tube wells system in the rural schools in Sabah and Sarawak. For the second objective, there are two clusters of work that relate to Telaga. The first cluster can be classified as authorities that are responsible for the Telaga Tube project, which are Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia and Jabatan Mineral dan Geologi. The second cluster represents the agencies that can get benefits from the project, such as sekolah and luar bandar. And for the third objective, the words that collocate significantly with penyelewengan are wujud and pengawal. For pembaziran, it is HPKK and memandang. For gagal, it is bayaran and deposit. For kecuaian, it is scope and kolam. And for ketirisan, it is LKIM and hasil.
The first recommendation to improve the quality of this research is by having more access of data resources from National Audit Department. If the access of data are wider, multiple analysis could be done by having wider range of information. The second recommendation is for our programming language to fix the stop word for Malay language so the study will get easier and smoother. There is a limitation in terms of its capability in discriminating important words and unimportant words. And the last recommendation is enhance the method of analysis by applying more reliable method to achieve objective of the study.
That's all from us. Thank you.